So for the past couple of weeks, I have been working with a practice about how life doesn't get easier. We get easier with life. And so when we get easier with life, life feels easier. But it's us, each of us, in our relationship of how we're doing life that makes it feel hard or easy. The paradox has been, it hasn't been so easy to be easy. But I keep working it because I notice that when I can do it, things do get easier. I'll give you an example. For 12 years, my wife and I, Ash and I, have been at odds around the living room. She likes to burn incense and scented candles, and I hate the smell. And so she has mostly worked with me on that and my sensibilities and kept it to her office. About a month ago, after 12 years, and she loves saying it took you 12 years, I finally thought, you know what? Oh, I remember what set it off was the fact that when she was away, I had saged the place because I love the smell of sage. And I saged that place so much that when she walked in, she could hardly see. Went a little overboard. And so she's like, you can burn sage. What's the problem with incense? And I thought, she's right. All we got to do is start looking for incense that smell, which has smells that I actually like. And so we started experimenting, and we found frankincense, and it's actually frankincense worked. And then her and I in our sweat lodge, and the water pourer, Orist, he throws some copal on the rocks, and we're both like, ooh, we really like that. And so we got ourselves a bunch of copal, which now I even find myself lighting, right, in the living room. And so we're burning all this copal now that we both really like. And I got unscented candles. And so and Ash just looks at me and goes, 12 years, really? But that is an example of getting easier with life, because I think sometimes we make a stand about something, or we're so sure it has to be a particular way, or that we don't even realize we're doing because, it's about our sensibilities, or it's about how we feel about things, and we don't want to get hurt, or we're being protective around our space, or this or that, and we don't even realize what we're doing is making our own life harder. By those stands, that the larger we can grow our container of what's okay, the more we can, just let go. I like to think of it as, holding on, right? We hold on to these ideas about how life should be. We're shooting on ourselves, we're shooting on our partners, we're shooting on our friends, we're shooting on our communities, because they need to be a particular way. And if we can let go, just loosen that grip even just a little bit. Even just a little bit, something new can arise that maybe we didn't think of before, even if it took 12 years. I'm a slow learner. Obviously I'm a slow learner. I'm 70 and still learning, a slow learner. Yeah. So this is what we're working with here all the time, is anytime you're going, well, I'm sure I'm right about this and it needs to be this way, if you're willing to go, wait a minute, I just made my life harder. Simply by saying that. Simply by thinking that. Now, am I saying, Ash has this incredible group that she started called the Self-Love and Sovereignty Group. And if you get an opportunity, you want to sign up for that because she's got a WhatsApp space where all these people are signing up and getting her practices for self-love and sovereignty. It's a great idea, and it's a growing space, and I highly recommend it. And now I forgot why I brought it up. But I did have a reason for it, fitting into what it is I'm trying to say about ease. And so me, right? Sovereignty came to me pretty easily. I have stood in what's true for me since I was a little kid. I'm talking, 5. My oldest memories are me that was easy. Self-love was this whole other thing. And I didn't know it at the time. Right? And so I've really started to recognize the difference in these past few years now that I've begun to get deeper into the practice of self-love, how it has softened my edges around my stance around me. And the reason I brought this up is because we come at this from different ways. There are the people pleasers who really don't have much sovereignty at all, or the peacemakers who are willing to give themselves up in a heartbeat, to have peace. There are lots of folks, it seems, in Canada who are conflict avoidant. Which must be very hard for you folks, given I'm from New York and conflict's no problem for me at all. But there is freedom in not having an issue with conflict. There is freedom there. And there is a deeper sovereignty around allowing others' sovereignty. Like I've noticed that sometimes when people get upset at me, they look at me like why I'm not upset around their being upset at me. And it's because it's okay. I'm really okay with people being upset. I know that's hard for some. But I've told you, I've talked about this before around how if you're going to be authentic, you got to allow for the fact that then others' authenticity may be upset at your authenticity. And then if you are one of these people who say you don't get to be upset at me because I'm being authentic, then you're not creating space for their authenticity. If we're all going to have that space, I don't know how you do that without some upset in it, some conflict in it, people rubbing each other the wrong way, people being inappropriate. And then so the other side of that coin is, right, in your authenticity, if somebody's being inappropriate, you get to call them out on it. I've asked people to call me out. Call me out. Let me know, because I know my intention is to grow into the most aware, awake, kind, compassionate person I can be. And I'm very clear, I'm not there yet. I'm still on the path, as are all of you. As is probably everybody as is everybody I've ever met on this planet. So that spaciousness, the bigger your space, the easier you are being with life. The more that people can be whoever they're going to be. And it's okay with you. The easier your life gets. The second somebody's behavior is like that crossed the line. And I'm not saying that there isn't behaviors that cross some line, right? I mean, and you get to make that decision yourself. I mean, we're all making these decisions, making these choices, making these stands all the time. The key here is be aware of it and notice where you are making a stand that maybe this one, maybe that stand actually has some leeway. Not that they all do. I'm not big on murder. So we all have our places, wherever you're drawing the line, that, that's okay too. So I'm not saying here, let go of all your lines and let go of everything. I'm saying look for the places where you can loosen your grip just a bit on what you may think is right and wrong, okay, not okay. Because if you can loosen your grip, life gets a little easier. And when life gets a little easier, because you're easier with life, something out here shifts. I've seen it over and over and over, that the easier and lighter I get, things happen out here that I didn't even expect and am amazed by in terms of others shifting. When you get easier, it gives space for somebody else to get easier. If your back's up, the odds are it's getting their back up. So we're all in this together, right? Even though it's a personal journey, we really do have impact on the field, and in so doing have impact on the community. And in so doing have impact on the world. This all plays. It plays very easily when you sit back and go, oh, if I can just get a little bit easier with this, there's no telling how that wave I've just set in motion by loosening my grip will flow out to allow. And so one of the ways in which I've been working on getting easier with myself this past week is diving into what is mine and what is not mine to do. Who am I and who am I not? And that led to me finding this story. Talk about not being easy with life. This is called The Stonecutter. It's a traditional folktale. There was once a poor stonecutter who lived by carving stone from a mountain. Each day he worked hard, and each day his life remained difficult. One afternoon, while cutting stone, he saw a wealthy merchant pass by in fine clothes, carried in comfort. The stonecutter thought, how powerful that man must be. I wish I were a merchant. And he became a merchant, rich, respected, comfortable. But soon, he noticed that even merchants bowed to officials. So he thought, how powerful an official must be. I wish I were an official. And he became an official, commanding others, issuing orders. But one day, as he traveled, the sun beat down mercilessly, and he felt powerless beneath its heat. He thought, the sun is more powerful than an official. I wish I were the sun. And he became the sun, blazing across the sky. But then clouds gathered and blocked his light. He thought, the clouds are more powerful than the sun. I wish I were a cloud. And he became a cloud, dark and heavy, pouring rain onto the earth. But the rain fell on a mountain, and the mountain did not move. And he thought, the mountain is more powerful than anything. I wish I were a mountain. And he became a mountain, immense, unmoving. Then one day he felt a sharp pain. It was a stonecutter was chipping away at his side. So what are you wishing you were being? Different from yourself, different from who you are, different from that authenticity that is within you. That is what's possible. That is what we teach here. The ability to bring forth your gift, your unique beingness, not in being somebody else or being different or being other, but something in you that is a bright light for the world that maybe you're not appreciating about yourself, and thus not being easy with life. When we are deep in self-love, when we are deep in sovereignty of who we are, we bring forth a light automatically. It comes out of us. That then comes forth into this world in such a good way that it supports others in lighting their light. Every time one of us is authentic with who we are, we allow and give breath to somebody else being authentic in who they are. But when we get into a place of protection and holding back, then the other person doesn't even get to see our authenticity. Because I promise you, at the core of who each and every one of you are is compassion, is love, is beauty. That is the core of who you are. That is the core of what you can bring forth in an ease when you trust yourself, when you love yourself, when you open your container so that others can trust and love themselves, even if what they're doing is just so different from you, from me. How big can we be in that? Because the bigger we are, the more at ease we are with life. Again, I'm not saying you shouldn't have the lines you have. You get to draw the line anywhere you want and make your stand. The question I'm asking is, are there areas that you could just loosen your grip a little bit? Like around incense in the living room. Because I'm betting I'm not the only one who has a silly stance that somehow I've held for so long around something so silly, but didn't feel that way at the time. It was my sensibilities. We can get our backs up so easy, and when we do, we lose our authenticity. We lose the heart of who we really are. And so that's what I invite. I invite us all to just give thought to, where can I loosen my grip? And if there's areas where you can't, don't do it. Look for the ones where you can. Look for the ones where you can grow and be easier with life. Thank you. I love you.